What's up here, everybody? Ted here, buys and mix with some smart money coming at you. I do apologize for being really late today. I did get, I was trying to make some background music for, the whole thing. I got like a new toy here that I can play with. That's what the whole picture was about. I got that and, a little beat machine maker back here. So I got a little carried away and didn't realize what time it was. And so now I'm doing the video now. So please forgive me for being late. But we got some things to talk about. I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as possible. We got a lot to talk about, actually. Liking and subscribing this video, or hitting that Rumble button, or whatever you're out watching me on an Odyssey, that'd be great. That would be super fantastic. I would love you forever, and it would just mean a whole lot to me if you could do that. Now, next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. It is only 30 minutes in. I'm going to try to get some of these squeezed in really quick. I am going to go to the charts. The charts probably aren't up. Oh, they are up. Probably see. Yes, there we go. So, okay, so here was what was weird. This is what was weird to me. That this is what I had called for Bitcoin. Right? This is what I'd called for Bitcoin. I called this for Bitcoin, and I'm on Bitstamp, right? I'm on Bitstamp right now. Okay, so I thought it was, and you saw what I wrote, and I said, it could get down to about 41 something. It could get down to, I think I said 41,700 or 41,800 or something like that. It did get down to about 41,800. It really did. Okay, so maybe my assessment here on this, chart was wrong. But I thought for sure what it would do was get to this yellow rectangle here, right here. Because there's a volume imbalance. I don't know if you see this or not, but there is a big gap in between these two candles, which means that there's a volume imbalance, which means that there is no trading happening in between those two areas. So it just jumps from one place to another, which means price is going to want to come back to that area. So whenever I saw that, I said, okay, price is going to come back down, probably hit, I was guessing this area right here, because this is where you have an order block, right? And this is your last down candle before you have your up candle that closes above it. As you can see, all of these candles come up and close above all of these. So that's why I thought this is the last candle down right here. And then all that comes up, closes above it. I thought this is where it would go to, and then start moving back up. Well, what happened? It just decided to go straight down, and it took out a lot of liquidity along with it. Now the thing is that is Bitstamp. Now if I'm going to And I went along and kept going along with this with Coinbase. And Coinbase, you don't see this at all. It's really weird. Coinbase, you see it come down, you see it hit, the support level, pulls back up, hits the bearish order block, comes back down just a little bit, and that may be about it. Let me see what Bitcoin is at right now. Okay. And it's at the area, okay, but it did not make that huge move that went way up here that Bitstamp did, and it did not come all the way down here that Bitstamp did. It's just really, really odd that two different brokers have this huge discrepancy in them. I'm calling something fishy on that. I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know. I don't have too much money in Bitstamp, maybe $40, something like that. I don't know, but I think it's about time to get it out. Either way, what happened is that it did come up. As you can see, it got to that. Here I'm on the 4 hour. If I go to the 1 hour, you can see that there is a 1 hour fair value gap imbalance that it did come up into, and this is where I sold. This is where you can see where I put sold, because I thought that's where it would drop. And two reasons why I thought it would drop. Number one, I still thought it was going to hit my entry, and it did. Two, there is relatively equal lows right here. Whenever there's relatively equal lows, a lot of people see that as support. Whenever people see that as support, they're going to start buying at that area, and then smart money is going to drive it lower to take people out. So that's what they did. Came down. I think it got down into the daily fair value gap, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's what this is right here. This is what I did not think it was going to get down to, and it did. It got down to the daily fair value gap. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. What that probably means now is that I really don't see any more gaps or imbalances below here now, besides this 4 hour fair value gap. But even then, I think that's already been taken care of. Kind of. Well, no, not really. I mean, there is a 4 hour fair value gap. You can see it's been entered into once, entered into twice. I really hope that that is it. I hope that that is kind of a breakaway gap into moving more into bullish territory. I really do not hope that that is an area to where it sees imbalance and it wants to pull down lower, because there is an area of liquidity that is just above that. I don't see why it would come all the way down here to try to get into an area of imbalance whenever it would want to attack liquidity that is just right above it. That's why I don't see this happening. Okay, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Everything is my opinion. I'm not giving financial advice. And then there is also well, I put liquidity void here, but that was actually liquidity void was more on the Bitstamp chart. This is more of a fair value gap. So I think it would break these highs. It looks like there's some kind of fair value gap in here too. It would probably maybe consolidate around a little bit and then come back up. That is my thinking for Bitcoin. Okay, like I said, my title of my video, the three that I've been watching have been Bitcoin, Ethereum, Axie Infinity, or not Axie Infinity, Avalanche. Mainly because I think that these are great coins. I mean, of course, Bitcoin, first in, best dressed. Ethereum, smart contract creator. Avalanche, right on the heels of all of the layer 2 projects. And actually, if we want to go here, I want to go back to the front page of Tradingview, if it'll let us. And it says something about Terra skis into Avalanche. So evidently Terra, I think, bought a lot of something in Avalanche. I don't know. Terra and Avalanche are doing something. Let's see what's going on. Okay, it says AVAX will now be a reserve alongside Bitcoin. Interesting. For Terra's UST stablecoin, a method the platform is using to keep the coin at its dollar peg. Wow. It was a bit of a scratch of it. Yeah, that's a scratch head kind of deal for me. Terra bought 200 million AVAX, while Avalanche Foundation bought 200 million worth of UST. So they both bought each other. Okay, and Luna in return. Talk about a win-win. Terra co-founder Do Kwon wants LFG to buy up to 10 million worth of Bitcoin, which will make it one of the biggest holders in the space, and 200 million spent on AVAX seems like a lose in comparison, but who cares? Who are we to judge? Best thing to do after a morning of skiing on the Bitcoin Alps is to Avalanche, ooh, nice play on words there, in a nice cafe. AVAX snowballed 5% up on Thursday, while Terra's native token Luna did the opposite and sledged down 5%. The two may be hitting papers together, with Terra announcing its plan to split screen with Avalanche on a new gaming subnet later this year. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Because I had no idea about this, but I did go into Trader Joe and put a liquidity pool on Avalanche and Terra just because, or Luna, I should say, just because I thought it was a good idea. I did that with Avalanche and Luna. I did it with Avalanche and Ape. I've had one for Avalanche and USDT.E. And there's one more, I forget which one I have, but I've quite a bit invested in Avalanche, just because I think it's $80 a share. I mean, yeah, it's not a Solana. I mean, then it's hard to compare to Solana. Solana had its heyday really, really early whenever everybody else did. So I don't know if it's going to come back like it used to. As to where I feel like Avalanche is slowly but surely kind of trudging along, and so is Luna, and we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with this. This is going to be interesting. But as of right now, AVAX, okay, as you can see, I do have, looks like we have a daily. Yep, we do have a daily the daily fair value gap. That's what that gold rectangle is. I'm guessing, okay, this red rectangle, it looks like it says that's a breaker. Okay, so what a breaker is when you have a low, high, lower, low situation, which is what we have, even though there's red candles going down. Yes, I understand that. However, what has happened, if you look at this, it goes down, and as it goes down, it's creating the wick, which means at this point it's coming back up, stops here, and then goes up. So therefore, that's that low to high pulling back down to a low scenario. So therefore, you have a breaker right here as well as a daily fair value gap. Not only that, let's see what we have going on as far as a Fibonacci. Now, Fibonacci, the way I usually do Fibonacci's is that you measure from the bottom of the lowest point that breaks the most nearest highest swing high, I guess you could say. So as of here, nothing seems out of the ordinary. Sometimes you have them in weird places and things like that. Here, I would just put it here, just because these two candles right here, they're in succession. They're in succession with this candle, in succession with this candle, in succession with this candle, in succession with this candle. There we go. Okay, so that being said, we have, boom, this goes up, pulls back just a little bit. Now, okay, interestingly enough, it stops right here. Stops right here, and it doesn't go lower. Why doesn't it go any lower? Anybody want to guess? Two things I can tell you why. One, fair value gap. All right, fair value gap is right here. It comes down in, fills the fair value gap, moves right on up, right? And it looks like there was also a daily fair value gap that it has ran right through. So now when it comes back to that daily fair value gap, it's going to really run right through it. But also, you have a breaker, right? So you have another low, high, lower, low scenario, meaning this top candle, the body of it, is going to be a breaker. Move that across. Look at that. The bodies respect its body. That is how you can tell this is all an algorithm. I mean, wicks can go, I mean, wicks are just kind of like, we'll just go there, we won't go there. It's the closing that matters. It's really the closing that matters. All right, if it closes within those boundaries, this one may have just gotten just a little bit out, but hey, you know, these things can't always be perfect. But still, for this to be a breaker and to have all of these candles come down, break through, but come up and stay inside and close within that breaker is amazing. Not only that, but it also stays inside the fair value gap. So what does it do? Runs up, and you can see there's somewhat equal highs here. So what is it going to do? Boom. Break that liquidity up. Break that liquidity up like no other. Make people think that it is going to take off, right? That they're going to catch a they're going to catch a breakaway. But what does it do? Pulls back. So everybody's chasing it, thinking that they're going to catch a breakaway. But what they don't do is they don't measure fair value gaps. Because look at this. Boom, hits the top of the 4-hour fair value gap, and that's when it drops. So it fills the imbalance, but you can tell that it's not ready to continue moving up. So therefore it drops, coming all the way back down here. And I guarantee you it's probably going to end up right in here. Avalanche will. Right where this 61.8% is. That is where your discount rate is for your smart money. So it'll probably end up around $75.87, somewhere around in there. Fine with me. Guess what? I'm going to buy a crap ton more whenever it hits there. All right. Because there's also that fair value gap. It doesn't look like there's a fair value gap on either side, but it's also within a breaker, right? And also a bearish order block. Or sorry, a bullish order block. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish candles in succession that do not. Ooh, yeah, that one does. Just no, it doesn't. I don't know. They look like they're about equal. Okay. As long as they're not out of succession, their wicks aren't out of whack or whatever, then it wouldn't be considered a a full bullish order block. But this one seems like it is a full bullish order block, along with a breaker, along with a fair value gap. This is a perfect storm for this price to come back and reach this area right here at maybe even a little bit lower, and then boom, take off. That's what it looks like to me, because this guy has already ran this fair value gap, ran the liquidity above it. Yeah, it's going to pull back. This is what charts do. Charts always pull back. This is one thing I don't understand about noobs. Noobs are like, oh my God, it's coming back. I don't understand. I'm going to freak out. I'm losing so much money. I need to sell. No, you need to hold. If you're too late to sell, hold and wait until you know when it's going to turn again, and then you add more money to that position, right? That's what you do. There's been plenty of times, and I've definitely missed the time when I should have either sold or not sold, but shorted and tried to make my position even bigger, or something like that. But you just got to keep going, and you got to keep fighting. And it seems like that this is what is going to happen. So that being said, AVAX should be picking up not too far from now. Hopefully we're gonna get back up in the hundreds. That would be awesome, because then my AVAX totals would probably be, I don't know, a lot, that's for sure. Just because that's probably my second biggest holding, to be honest, is Avalanche. Second biggest holding probably Avalanche. First would be US Tethers. Third probably Hydra. Fourth probably Ether, and then fifth probably Bitcoin. Just because I trade Bitcoin, I really don't hold it and hodl it. Just because it fluctuates too much. I like to know when it's going to, rise and fall. I can see when it's going to rise and fall, and I know when to pull my money out just in time for it to fall and then put it back in. So I'm not a huge Bitcoin collector. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I think all of crypto, is going to have some kind of peace in our society for some reason. But the thing is that they all follow the same patterns. They all follow the same technical charts. They all follow the same rules. It's crazy. And look at this. Okay, so now we have, if we're going to Ethereum, we have 2 equal lows, which means that it looks like this Ethereum is probably going to shoot down. And I do have this right here. I think that is a daily fair value gap. If I am not mistaken. Yep, it's a daily fair value gap. So there is a imbalance that it has not yet come down and completely filled. It doesn't always have to fill the imbalances, by the way. It doesn't always have to do it. However, price is usually attracted to filling imbalances. That's just a rule of thumb. If it's taken off and it's way too far out of the way, sometimes it doesn't come back and want to fill that imbalance, but sometimes it will. You got to think about when Elon Musk announced that Bitcoin was going to be part of the reserve currency, what happened to Bitcoin that day? It took off like a rocket. My first thought was, because I was already studying smart money by then, was, oh crap, it's going to come back to this area eventually, and people are going to get stuck, screwed. And I told myself that if it got near $6,000, or sorry, not $6,000, $60,000, that's when I would start pulling everything, and lo and behold, that 65,000 is as high as it got. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm a cat whisperer or if I just have a good sense of knowing where things are going, but these things happen, and they really do. But it looks like Ether actually touched the top. Oh, right there. You can see it. There's a breaker, which means that whenever it comes back up to that breaker, it's going to drop. So not only breakers do apply to a low, high, low scenario, low, high, lower, low, they also apply to a high, low, higher, high scenario. So, and I'm not really sure if I really see that here. Oh yeah, okay, I see it now. High, low, higher, high. Got it. High, low, higher, high. Making this the breaker. Okay, so meaning that this red candle probably should be pushing down further, unfortunately, and maybe getting down into this zone right here. Ethereum daily. Oops, not Saki. I don't know what Saki is, but Ethereum daily FEG zone. And that's about all I got for you guys today. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to try to cut this up into a couple different parts, and we'll see what happens. But thanks for hanging in there with me, and I shall see you guys tomorrow. And as always, make sure to... what's that word I always say? Oh, yeah, keep your pants on.